Welcome back to another episode of the Scale Smart podcast. I'm your host, Jacob. I'm also the CEO and founder of Netscale Growth. Today, I have the pleasure of being joined by Ognjen Gatalo, the co-founder and the co-CEO of Nortik Software Solutions. Ognjen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much, Jacob, for having me.
Pleasure. So, kick us off, Ognjen. Tell me a little bit about yourself, your experience, and what led you to co-found Nortik Software Solutions.
Yeah, definitely. Just a quick intro on my end. I'm currently running Nortik. We're a software development agency where we're helping funded startups scale their software development quickly, efficiently, and risk-free. So far, we've been working with over 30 startups and scale-ups all over the world, mainly in the US and Europe, and helping them either develop their SaaS products from scratch or scale their current engineering teams. We've had plenty of success, and our combined client portfolio now exceeds 150 million, or our clients raised more than 150 million in combined funding. So that's like a metric that we're really proud of. Apart from Nortik, we recently started developing our own product, Contio. That's a tool or a SaaS tool that helps content creators create better content faster using AI. And apart from that, I'm also running my newsletters called SaaS Strats, where I'm breaking down cool SaaS strategies that can help startups elevate their basically SaaS game. So yeah, that would be like a quick intro on my end. Now to get into how we started it all, basically it all started in college where me and my co-founders Marco and Valor met in college, and all of us had our own freelance gigs, so to say. And so we thought, why won't we just connect and pile up our client base so we can do more work and do the work that we get more efficiently. So that's how it all started. We first had an idea and a few failed attempts of attempting to build a SaaS product. So we had like a 3 or 4 failed attempts before we started our outsourcing agency, which took off, and it's currently doing really, really well.
Amazing. And you said you had 4 failures, right?
Yeah.
What made you go for the 5th? Like what? Because a lot of people after 4 failed attempts were like, do you know what? I'm not trying anymore.
Yeah.
What did you have in you guys, which was like, no, we're going to go for another?
Definitely. I think that we're all a bit crazy, so that's definitely a factor. But I mean, yeah, we all have that entrepreneurship spirit. We always dreamed about and talked about having our own company. So the main thing I would say that made us go and chase that fourth venture is basically that all of the first ones were focused on product, and we didn't have any kind of product placement or marketing or sales experience. We were all coders, developers. So we said, okay, let's build a company around what we do best, and what we do best is software development. So this is how we started working for other companies and helping them scale their product. They already have their marketing teams, their sales teams set up, but they didn't, had this support on the software development side. So by giving them and providing this software development support that we had, that stood out, and this is how we scaled.
And you mentioned at the start as well, Nortik has assisted over 30 different startups and scale-ups, and it contributed to more than 150 million in combined funding. So just tell me, what are some of the key factors which have enabled such impactful collaborations?
I would definitely say transparency and open communication, because in software development, everybody is looking for quality code, and that's like a standard. But what we focused on is additional processes. So, for example, all of our engineers that we're hiring inside Nortik need to be basically close to native English speakers, so we can communicate faster and more efficient. And they need to have more than 4 years of industry experience. So this really, this helped us stand out because we didn't just come in as a classic software development vendor. We focused on providing and changing their development structure by becoming their partner. So it's essentially how we're becoming an extension, or like an external extension of their team. But for some clients, we even took over the management inside of their internal teams. So, for example, we have product managers that are currently leading the teams on our client side, and we are responsible for hiring for every software development hire that comes into their company. So, building that trust, building that open communication, showing how being proactive and showing how different processes can change their working efficiency definitely helped us and definitely helped them understand what they're lacking and how they can improve it.
And your team emphasizing building multidisciplinary software teams. How do you ensure seamless integration and high performances across diverse projects and diverse industries?
That's definitely a good question. I think, let me think about it. I mean, I would always have to come back, to the initial open communication. But how it all starts basically is that we let the client choose which kind of how they would like to open up a relationship with our agency. So, for example, we have multiple offers in place that we offer to them. So for example, one of the offers is that we offer our engineers on a 2-week free trials. So no strings attached. You can test us out. You can test out how do we work, how do we think, and if you don't like what we do, if we don't fit within your culture, within your working streams, then it's basically you can just say, hey, I think we're not clicking. But if you do like what do we see, and it's basically a no risk approach, then you can commit to a more a bigger workload. The other, so to say, process is that we let them interview our engineers. So basically, like they're conducting their initial search and hiring search, we're just sending them pre-vetted profiles so they can, they don't need to waste time on going through every application. We already did that for them, and we have the high performing profiles here. So you can just reassure and do the interview yourselves just to see if the person we sent is matching on the expertise level that you're expecting.
What made you guys take that kind of approach? It's not often you see such transparency like that. So, what made you guys shift into being kind of hyper transparent?
Got it. I think the industry makes you do it. Basically, how the industry shifts. You need to shift with the industry, and you need to find ways to boost trust and to get above other agencies that are just doing, how should I say, the default work. It's same approach in every industry. For example, cold email. Cold email worked really well in 2020, 2021. Right now, you can just cold email and spam people with mass email. You need to build meaningful relationships. You need to invest more time into closing every lead. So this is what we did for our clients in our industry. We wanted to boost that initial trust. We wanted to invest more time at the start for every initial lead that came to our agency, and show that we can be a trusted vendor from the very start.
You mentioned something which is going to tie into my next question now. So, like with your guys' expertise within SaaS, within blockchain and AI, how do you guys make sure you're constantly staying ahead of emerging tech trends to meet the client needs?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we have our internal processes and we have our internal knowledge database. So for example, every time we kind of sort of built this internal people machine, let's call it like this, where every of our employees is contributing to the agency in his or hers specific way. So if they find some interesting article, we share it in our internal Slack, and then if it becomes a really useful resource, we then share it to our Notion page where we have like our internal knowledge base where everybody from the team can basically access it and learn more. Apart from this, we also have Udemy courses and offering Udemy and other platforms where our engineers can boost their knowledge for free. We are big on the benefits in learning and self improvement. But also, what's more important is that we love to go to local conferences. So basically, we're well known on the local level when it comes to local development conferences. So this is how it all started. We boosted our knowledge in this way, and it all kind of connected and connected in a way at the end.
Obviously, that's staying ahead of the trends. But just tell me, what are some of the trends which you guys are seeing within the industry?
Got it. So I would say the biggest trend right now would be AI, as Web3 was like a few years ago. But I think that Web3 was not blockchain, but Web3 specifically, like crypto and Web3, were mainly like the passing trend. I think AI is here to stay, and AI can definitely help any industry prosper and move further. But definitely the biggest like industry spike is AI, especially in software development. So we started moving in this direction when we noticed it. And how do we catch this train? We started building our internal tooling and systems that can help us, for example, boost our development time. Right now, with the number of software development agencies rising, we need to stay competitive by offering some either more faster solutions or a more cheaper one. We didn't want to go on the cheaper side. We still want to stay as a premium partner, but we want to introduce new toolings that can help, drive growth in this way. So this is where AI comes into play, and we can help our clients build initial MVPs, initial prototypes in much less, in much AI.
I think a lot of people now, I spoke to somebody yesterday and they say people need to stop using the terminology like AI is a trend because it's not a trend anymore. It's here to stay. I totally agree with it. I think AI is like the internet when the internet started. It's something that's really new and might take a long time to get used of, but if you don't adapt to it, then you can like forget about scaling or even like growing because I don't think you might not necessarily scale, but I think you're going to scale at such a slower rate to the other people that are using it. You're just going to get wiped out by the competition.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
So, what do you think about companies who may be a little bit hesitant to adopt into AI or a little bit on the fence of using AI within their systems?
I mean, everything comes with a cost. So I know that some of our clients, some of our partners are hesitant on using AI because of data sensitivity. For example, healthcare industry is very sensitive with their data, and they don't really trust tools like ChatGPT or other ChatGPT wrappers that much, because when you enter that sensitive data into ChatGPT, it basically gets spread out online. I mean, we still don't know how this data is processed essentially. I mean, being careful with AI is definitely reasonable. So I would say that I understand companies that are very careful with AI, but I still think that they need to figure out ways to utilize AI inside of their business, because they will get left behind. It will happen, and they just need to find a smarter way, either running some self-hosted solutions or using some really secure tools that can help drive their growth further.
And what are some of the goals and targets you've got for the company over the next 12 months?
So I would say our biggest goal is to keep the quality of our services high, like keep it at the level that it is currently, if not boost it even more. Definitely try to break into maybe some VC territory where we can become a stable partner for the SaaS VCs or VCs that invest mainly into tech SaaS. And the third biggest like milestone for us in the next 12 months is launching of Contio, launching of our internal tool, not internal, but launching of our SaaS tool for content creators. I've learned very much myself being active on LinkedIn, being active on Instagram, and I've noticed some pain points that content creators face. So this is why we started creating our product, and hopefully we'll get big traction in the next 12 months.
Amazing. And if people wanted to reach out and find a little bit more information, where's the best place for them to do that?
Yeah, definitely. They can reach out on nordicsoftware.com. They can also check out my LinkedIn profile. Maybe you have some description or whatever, but definitely nordicsoftware.com. We recently have underwent a rebrand. So we have a fresh new brand, fresh new website. Everything is there regarding the information that they need to know. So yeah, definitely would encourage them to check it out.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again for joining me on the podcast. I do appreciate you coming on. You definitely shared some interesting things as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Jacob, for having me.
Amazing. Thank you.